Hello comic fans, here's Earl Grey, and I want to talk about Charles Burns once again. Yeah, he has kept us on a diet pretty much for the last couple of years, so we are eager to lick up every crumb that he throws in our direction, or even the tiniest book has an enormous sex appeal for us Burns fans. Yeah, a tiny book like this one here, it's even smaller than the last book from him. Done by this French publisher Cornelius, who seems to be blessed to publish the next proper Charles Burns comic in October 2019. And this is an unusual move to publish the comic first in French and then in other languages. I hope so that it's not French only, but I'm pretty sure that there will be translations into English and other languages as well. Of course, it's Charles Burns. So, interesting move, but I think the French comic community has deserved it, and especially this French publisher Cornelius, which is pretty great. Like it is with Fantagraphics. Size-wise, it can't be compared, of course, to the last Charles Burns comic or the and not at all, of course, with the artist edition of Black Hole. All the stuff here have been shown in earlier panellogies. And it's, of course, not that important publication. It's just recommended for the real hardcore Charles Burns fan. One thing is the price point, $20, is not exactly what this title here suggests. Free shit. $20 are $20, and that's a lot of money, I think, for a lot of you for this little book here. It's even more, I think, a bit a collector's item as well, and so I'm very glad that I have it, but I think that is maybe not for all of you, and some will maybe a bit disappointed that they don't get any comic here at all. But a wild collection of sketches, collages, a combination of free floating, throwing stuff against the wall and see what sticks, and a fully formed art. For the most part, it's very wild art, but you've got these beautiful illustrations as well. The term free shit here comes from Charles Burns creating some sort of artzine to give this stuff here out free for all his fans at conventions or signings. He printed around 50 copies of each of these free shit issues and gave them away. And this book here contains all 25 issues of free shit, or at least the first 25 free shit issues. I don't know if there were more. So we can work the master's brain in his at work, and the whole filtering process of him creating his hybrid beings, creatures that are so typical for Charles Burns comic, and this mix of pulp fantasy stuff and gross stuff and horror stuff. He has a wild imagination, and I think what makes Charles Burns so great is that he has this wild imagination, but filters it into these clear, clean, super clean panel sequences. So or first graphics and then panel sequences. So I think when you have in the back of your mind a Charles Burns comic and then look at the stuff here, then you really can appreciate the whole process that came first before his comics. And yeah, there's something nice and unpretentious in this book here that I really dig. And you can witness some of his ideas, like this queen insect creature here that will be pretty important in the trilogy, as you know. That's really nice. And even this use of collaged in illustrations and so on that you will find in punk rock graphic aesthetics as well, which is really typical for Charles Burns as well. And so, yeah, no surprise here. There's even one free shit number 8, the special literary issue, where he fools around with, I think, potential titles for some comic or cartoon. Maybe he was just bored at some of the signings or some convention or wherever, and then he wrote down just what crosses his mind. Get sick, get well, fly day, whatever. And next issue is a bit more fleshed out art here. I like this double page here is great. So at first, these pictures doesn't have something in common, but then you see why he coupled these pictures together. Yeah, this is really recommended for the hardcore Charles Burns fan, and then I would recommend to rush a bit. Or here, this guy with his nose, he turns up a bit later on. Yeah. As a more cleaned up graphic. But I like these pencil sketches here a lot. Maybe the most. This is the character from Mixed Out, and there's some similar pencil drawing in the back here, which is somehow unlike Charles Burns art, and then it's a typical Charles Burns nevertheless. So what I wanted to say is you have to rush, I think, at least with the first edition. Maybe they print a second edition, but the first edition seems to be sold out almost. And it's just a month. These books are just out for a month or so. So, don't be too late. Get this book here to complete your Charles Burns collection. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.